Hello dear all. So in this presentation we discuss psychosis over construction chapter from Roberts philosophy. So let's understand what Dr. Roberts says about the psychotic miasm. So as Surik manifests more strongly the functional symptoms, the syphilitic has its hallmark of ulceration and destruction of tissues and even of bony tissues. But psychotic has an opposite manifestation, that is infiltration and overgrowth of tissues. Therefore, we see that the psychotic stigma presents a problem in physical construction. Psoriatic patient is unable to assimilate sufficient elements from sunlight, air, water, food, etc. for a well-rounded physical structure in which to house a normal healthy mind and spirit. We find that psychotic patient is too susceptible to the available constructive elements. He seizes upon and assimilates to the point of overgrowth of tissues. Means here what Dr. Roberts has said is that there is over assimilation in psychotic patients. In psoriatic patients there is lack of assimilation, and hence because of over assimilation there is a overgrowth in tissues. We find malignancies with overgrowth of natural tissues and infiltration. We are almost always able to trace the psychotic taint. So there is overgrowth of natural tissues and infiltrations. So we get tumors. Psychosis is generally understood to be the gonorrheal poison. We should make distinction clear between gonorrhea and psychosis. So what is the difference between gonorrhea and what is the deep psychosis? Rather, we should understand what is the relation between gonorrhea and psychotic miasm. Psychosis is established after a suppressed gonorrhea, when acute infection is driven in upon the vital energy by external methods of suppression. It then becomes a systematic stigma permeating every living cell of the organism and transmitting its deadly destructive forces to the offspring, as well as retaining the full destructiveness of its power in the original individual and impregnating mother of the child. It means that we try to understand the relation between gonorrhea and psychotic miasm. So acute infection of gonorrhea presents with the maybe genital warts or the purulent urethral discharge, which is treated by either injections or surgery. So these are the methods of suppression, and then this discharge or the warts are removed, and what happens is that the disease permeates more deeper inside every living cell of the organism, and this destructive forces are transmitted even to the next generation, that is even to the offspring and to the impregnating mother of the child. So this infection present even in the mother is getting transmitted to the its baby, to the mother's child. The suppressed gonorrheal infection is very apt to the first show itself in attacking the blood and producing anemic condition, and general catarrhal condition is set up. Thus, the suppressed gonorrheal infection is itself getting manifested and starts attacking now the blood and develops anemia in females. Oftentimes, an inflammatory rheumatism develops. Inflammation follows in the soft tissue and changes the fiber of the muscles. Stasis develops in the lymphatics with swelling and inflammation of glands. So, after the removal of the gonorrheal infection in the form of the urethral discharge and genital warts, what is often found is the anemia in the females, then the catarrhal conditions, that is development of the chronic rhinitis. The other conditions you get is the rheumatism. So the inflammation follows in the joints. Stasis develops in the lymphatics, resulting into the fluid accumulations and the swelling and inflammation of glands. Psychotic manifestations are characterized by slowness of recovery. Patient is constantly slipping backwards because of the destructive character of stigma whenever he gets an acute manifestation. Thus, the psychotic manifestations are characterized by slowness of recovery. So, there is slowness, dullness, and the patient will recover very slowly. And this psychotic miasm also has destructive character. Here also the example of manganese is given, that MAC column tells us that the small amount is required in the diet. It is very difficult to prepare the food entirely free from the element for experimental purposes. If it is so difficult to prepare food and omit the small quantity required, what an excess of the substance must be available in normal diet. Yet, the healthy normal system absorbs only the amount required to maintain the state of health. What is the meaning of this? Is that it is so difficult to prepare food and omit the small quantity required. But the excess of the substance must be available in the diet, and yet the healthy normal system absorbs only the required amount. So, our living instrument is, as we have already know, that it is governed by the life energy, that whatever may be the excess quantity available for the individual, only the required amount is absorbed in the normal individual. Dr. Robert gives the list of antipsychotic remedy, and it has been compiled from several materia medica comprising only those remedies with a primary chemical relationship. Almost all these remedies fall within the group of body construction elements. But the significant that so-called double salts predominate. Carbons are almost entirely lacking, while the calcareas appear infrequently. So, the psychotic remedies, the carbons are not present. Carbon group of remedies are present in the suric miasm, and calcareas appear frequently. All of you know calcarea is a very, the individuals are slow, dull, and obese, so it represents the psychotic miasm. Chemical combination of the very lowest elements are found to be fairly frequent, as the remedies like fluoric acid, nitric acid, and ammonium. It is interesting to note that while there is predominant of the kalis, kali carb is omitted. It will be noted that aurum mur, baryta mur, cinnabaris, mercury and plumbum appear in the list. The first three are tinctured with the elements of much lower atomic weight, while the two last are comparatively rarely indicated in the true psychotic conditions unless there is syphilitic taint. All of us know that mercury is prominent anti-syphilitic remedy. So this is a list of the remedies, the elements of the psychotic miasm. So these elements are present in the psychotic miasm. They represent the psychotic miasm. The prominently, see the Kali group, the Kali bi and Kali sulf. All of us know that the discharges are thick, stringy. In Kali sulf, you will get yellowish discharges. In Kalibai, you will get the stringy discharges. Similarly, natrum sulf, prominent antipsychotic remedy with the very important antipsychotic remedy. Also, you will see Kali Mur, where you will get the discharges which are white, thick discharges. So, this is a group of remedies Dr. Roberts gives us as a prominent antipsychotic remedies. It is not to be thought that those remedies, even with those from animal and vegetable sources added, are all that might be indicated in psychotic conditions. But these show the trend of the remedies that are most likely to be indicated. It is an accepted fact that all plant remedies contain the constructive elements, rebuilt into potential and varied combinations in every species of plant life. Animal remedies have their value only in what has been made of elements assimilated and rebuilt. Some of the elements that come within the range of the constructive group, yet which have never been defined as having constructive roles. Example, spectrograph of milk. Inorganic substances contained in milk are those detected in trace and their constructive role have not been defined. Elements associated with physical functions of the body leads us to inquire why elements of such high atomic weight should appear in nutritious functions. Was this by chance, some imperfection in techniques on the part of investigators, or have we a still wider field beyond that compassed by over present knowledge and the hypothesis found thereon? So elements with physical functions of the body leads us to inquire why elements of such high atomic weight should appear in nutritious functions. Okay, is it by chance or by some imperfections in the techniques on the part of the investigators? Or have we a still wider field beyond that compassed by over present knowledge and the hypothesis found thereon? So let's see further. The commonest remedies frequently associated by symptomatology with the problems of hereditary or contracted disease taints must be understood to be no more than the first uncertain steps towards a newer understanding of the relationship of our potentized remedies to cases that may be present themselves before us. So these comments are upon the remedies who are frequently associated by the symptomatology with the problems of hereditary or contracted disease states. It must be understood to be no more than the first uncertain steps towards a newer understanding of the relationship of our potentized remedies to the cases that may present themselves before us. So, how we saw the relation of remedies with the deficiency of elements, the antisoric remedies, and their relation with the deficiency of constructive elements, as Sora as deficiency. Here also we try to understand the relationship of our potentized remedies to the cases before us. So, what are the important points regarding psychosis? That psychotic patients are exceedingly suspicious. This suspicious, when turned upon others, leads to worst form of degeneracy. Psychotic patient is cross and irritable. It is absent-minded. He forgets recent happenings but remembers distant events clearly. Psychosis coupled with Sora is the basis of most criminal insanity and most suicides. Degenerates and our psychosis or syphilis or result from the combined destructiveness of the two stigma. So here we understand the mental features of psychotic miasm. So, psychosis coupled with Sora is the basis of most criminal insanity mind, and most suicides degenerates are psychotics. When some external manifestation occurs, such as catarrhal conditions, leukorrhea, or even the return of menstrual period, there is general amelioration of the mental condition. So this is very important feature of the psychotic miasm, that return of these discharges which are abnormal discharges, or the return of even leukorrhea or the menses relieves the mental condition. Psychosis never gives true ulcer. The psychotic manifestations are overgrowths, and true ulcer is a syphilitic miasm. The fish brine odor, that is very offensive odor, is characteristic of psychosis taint. The psychotic child is sour smelling. The attempt to suppress the psychotic manifestations, especially the discharges, is very common medical practice. But suppressive measures meet with a very prompt and decided renewal of the stigmatic power and energy. So, as soon as the psychotic manifestations are removed by either surgery, ointments, injections, with the discharges are suppressed, then we meet with the renewal of the stigmatic power, means the miasm is again becoming very active. After such an attempt, the destructive progress of the disease becomes much more rapid and often leads rapidly to malignancies. Thus, the suppression, that is the removal of discharges, overgrowth, is very dangerous. It leads to malignancies. We have all noted the tendency of some operated patients to develop stitch abscesses. This never occurs unless there is underlying psychotic tendency in the patient. So, this was about the discussion on psychotic miasm from Robert's philosophy. Thank you.